So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. Both feet flat on the floor, about hips width apart, and your shoulders aligned with your hips as best as you can, and your rib cage aligned with your shoulders. And your ears aligned. Sorry, your rib cage aligned with your hips, your pelvis, and your ears aligned with your shoulders. And now imagine your spine is it's just a really beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Just putting some space in between your vertebrae. Imagine you have that beautiful string as being maybe someone above you, behind you, like a puppet, just being very sort of very gently lengthened. And then maybe just go to the crown of the head and relax your scalp, the forehead and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, and the mouth, the jaw, the back of the tongue, the back of the head and your neck. And allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Notice the sensations, the physical sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. So maybe you notice the sensation of the air as you breathe in and out through the nostrils. You notice the rib cage expanding as you inhale. Diaphragm drops. And then as you exhale, everything contracts. Maybe you feel the belly as you breathe in and out. And be aware of any sounds in your environment. Try not to follow the sounds with your mind. Just allow the sounds to be there. You know, it could be pets in your home, could be people, could be traffic, city sounds. And then just have a look and see what's going on in the mind this evening. Just checking in with yourself. Say hi. Particularly for those of you who are in the US. It's the end of the day, Canada. Just looking to see if our Australians are here. And for some of you, it's really late. Maybe you've had a day where you're completely wound up. So before you try and lie down and put your head on the pillow, this is a really good time to sort of empty out all this kind of stuff in the head. So start just noticing the breath as you inhale and exhale. Just breathe. And then try and put some space in between your thoughts. Just be curious about what's there. So start to be a little bit objective. Take a step back. Try not to get drawn into the story that's whirling around in your brain. Take another breath. And then bring to mind some people of your life. Start with your loved ones. Then there's probably people in your life you don't like so much, and then are strangers. And recognizing that due to impermanence, these relationships can shift and change. regardless of how you feel about anybody right now, these people are all equal in their wish to be happy, the wish to be free from suffering, and having an extraordinary capacity for an enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. And I just want to mention my precious friend Judith, who's also friends with Marion and Ginny, who has cracked the top of her tibia bone and is almost 91 and a half. So in a lot of pain and not mobile and elderly. So difficult. And we all must acknowledge that through one little tiny accident, our life can change in an instant. It's always good to keep that in mind. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can create positivity as well. So we start in this practice of the four opponent powers we start in the context of Vajrasattva. We start with this idea of regret, power of regret. So we sincerely regret from the depths of our heart anything that you've done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. We know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and just regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and then think, I'm sick of suffering. And then we think, well, okay, so what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and it has two sections. One is refuge, the other is developing compassion. So with refuge, we're relying upon, in this case, the Buddha Vajrasattva, who we really see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify, to heal ourselves. And we're not needing Buddha Vajrasattva to forgive us, or to be this higher power or, icon, something. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So we imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of our head, and you can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he has this beautiful, radiant, blissful, white light. This is how he's made, this beautiful light. And he's sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has a beautiful, radiant face, and his eyes are long. They're shaped like lotus petals, and they're peaceful, and they're looking at everybody equally with compassion and kindness, accepting exactly who you are and how you've happened to turn up this evening. It's all fine. His mouth is red, it's a sweet red mouth, and his hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So here we have our little section on developing compassion. So compassion really is a wish for someone to be free from suffering. And we need to rely upon other beings in order to do this. So the beings we've hurt, harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently, and then in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think about those who have harmed you, and particularly have compassion for these ones, because the harm they've caused you is going to result of suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And imagine Vajrasattva has very compassionately sent powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you and forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe, vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Drita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me, Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe, vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Drita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is this purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So imagine all the gossip, all the harsh speech, and these kind of useless rabbiting on speech and lying talking about people behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So now feel so happy that your speech is completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech, and that includes yourself. And next is this purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately now sends powerful beams of light this time from his heart, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being, just like when you walk into a room and you flick on the switch. The light instantly dispels the darkness. So same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your depression and anxiety and bitterness and grudges, attachment, neediness, anger, resentment, jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Bhadrasapa Samayam Nupalaya Bhadrasapa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Sini Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is this purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And so this time, imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar. It fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to this power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process, and really a crucial one. And this is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And without this determination, without making a decision like this, we're never really going to change. We won't do anything. So it becomes like guardrails and sort of a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in, different directions, new directions. So rejoice in your efforts coming along here. Particularly if this is like your first time and you have no idea what you're doing, and everybody else seems to know what they're doing, but you don't. So rejoice in your effort, everyone. And then particularly for those people, if it's really late at night, I know for quite a few of you. So really fantastic. And then think about something that you wanting to work on. Maybe it's your speech. Maybe it's kind of rumination. Maybe it's kind of being reactive when perhaps you really deep down know you should just go away and think about it first. Or you open your mouth. Just think about the ways which we all have different ways in which we harm ourselves and others. So maybe start honing in on some of those, and, don't make a big deal. Just one little thing. Think about it for a little bit during the day. And then imagine Vajrasattva's delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And then Rinpoche used to recommend meditating on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a little while. You can think of all phenomena as being empty. They don't exist from their own side. And you can also think, the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And so here we do these 3 verses from this text called Chanting the Names of Manjushri, was recommended by His Holiness the Dalai Lama for Lama Zopa Rinpoche students to recite for Rinpoche's swift return. He is the noble Sattva, Vajrasattva, the Vajra's sovereign lord, the highest bliss, the Vajra's wrathfulness, the highest joy, intoning hums of Vajra Humkara, with Vajra arrows serving as his weapon, his sword comprised of Vajras slashing all, upholding every Vajra, Vajra bearing, with just a single Vajra ending strife, with eyes like Vajra fire, truly dreadful, with hair that's like a Vajra set ablaze, immersion of the Vajra, great immersion, with eyes like Vajras, eyes 100-fold. Okay. Did we lose Miles? We may have. Anyway, he did good. Are you here, Miles? No, you're gone. Alrighty. Okay, everybody. Let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, and for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all of your own individual teachers. Strong wish for them all to live long. Okay, everybody. Lots of love.